Chapter 28, A corner of his heart softens. Haicheng can't understand why Fu Huai'an was so good in the kitchen.
Lin Nuan hurriedly passed the chopsticks in her hand to Fu Huai'an. Fu Huai'an's hand touched her fingers and she felt a slight tingling in her fingertips. She stood to the side and watched Fu Huai'an, surrounded by the wet steam. Lin Nuan didn't expect the man in the formal wear to be so good at cooking. When Lin Nuan stayed at the Lin's house, his father and brother were often busy with the company's business and never entered the kitchen. They were completely lost when it came to cooking. So Lin Nuan naturally assumed that men in suits never entered the kitchen. Lin Nuan was always standing on the side, engrossed in random thoughts. "Pass me a bowl." Hearing Fu Huai'an's voice, Lin Nuan brought a bowl. Seeing the hot noodles out of the pan, Lin Nuan didn't know if they counted as the egg noodles she had prepared for Tuan Tuan. When Lin Nuan took out a small bowl of noodles, little Tuan Tuan had already fallen asleep comfortably on the sofa with Fu Huai'an's jacket on him. Lin Nuan frowned. Fu Huai'an hadn't even told him that the child had fallen asleep. Fu Huai'an sat down at the dining table and ate a mouthful of noodles elegantly. "Tuan Tuan will stay at your place for one night tonight." Lin Nuan turned his head to see Fu Huai'an putting down his chopsticks and talking to him over the steam rising from the bowl of noodles. Before Lin Nuan could ask any more questions, Fu Huai'an continued, "Tomorrow, after we get our marriage certificate, pack your things and move in with me. Stop renting the apartment here." Lin Nuan knew that Fu Huai'an had seen the apartment rental contract on his coffee table and knew that the contract expired in 2 months. Hearing no response from Lin Nuan, Fu Huai'an raised his head and fixed his deep gaze on Lin Nuan, saying, "Don't tell me you think that after we get married, we will live separately." Lin Nuan shook his head and replied, "No, it's just that this place is closer to the broadcasting station. If I live at your place, I'll have to check which bus or train to take. It is indeed inconvenient to go to the broadcast station from home. Do you know how to drive?" Lin Nuan nodded. "You can go and choose a car you like." Did Fu Huai'an mean that he was offering him a car? Lin Nuan hastily declined, saying, "It's okay. I have enough savings to buy a car, but the traffic in Haicheng is often congested and driving a car may not be as fast as taking the train." Lin Nuan was a proud girl. Fu Huai'an knew this and did not try to force the issue. Fu Huai'an only ate one bite of the noodles and left the rest untouched. Soon after, his assistant sent him a suitcase with all the things that Tuan Tuan would need the next morning. Then Fu Huai'an did not stay. He only said that he would pick up Lin Nuan at 8 in the morning and go to the civil affairs office. Then he went out. Tuan Tuan was still asleep on the sofa, his body covered by Fu Huai'an's expensive, dark-colored suit jacket. Lin Nuan, who had no experience in child care, didn't know if she should move Tuan Tuan. She was afraid that if she carried Tuan Tuan to bed, it would wake him up and interrupt the child's sleep. After thinking about it, Lin Nuan went to get a blanket from the room, gently pushing aside Fu Huai'an's jacket to place the blanket on Tuan Tuan. "Mom, don't go." As if receiving a shock, Tuan Tuan's small hand suddenly rose up, mumbling in his dreams. Lin Nuan's hands stopped as she placed the blanket on Tuan Tuan. She felt a corner of her heart soften. She clung to Tuan Tuan's chubby hand as her free hand lowered the light of the street lamp. She then gently stroked Tuan Tuan's head and sat beside him, accompanying him to sleep. In the dim light, Tuan Tuan's upset and frowning face finally began to relax, but her small hand tightened its grip on Lin Nuan.
Chapter 29, Are you really going to marry Lin Nuan? Haicheng Sky Imperial Garden, are you just playing around?
The Sky Imperial Garden in Haicheng was the same as the one in Jincheng. It was an upscale tea and entertainment club, located in the center of Haicheng City, a place where land was expensive, with all kinds of luxury cars parked at its gates. It was frequented by the rich people of Haicheng who had tea there. Inside the private room, the tea master wearing a pure white uniform made of cotton and linen worked with skill and elegance. The master was absolutely unaffected by the sound of the mahjong table in the background. Every action was extremely professional. The tea arts master passed a cup of hot tea to Tang Jing, whose movements were decorative as he brought it to his nose to smell the fragrance, the hot steam slightly fogging his glasses. Fu Huai'an was sitting cross-legged in front of Tang Jing. Seeing the master pass a teacup to him with both hands, he sat calmly, one hand holding the teacup while the other supported the cup from the bottom, treating the master with great respect. Lu Jinan walked away from the mahjong table, a cigarette in his mouth, and said, "Very well, you may leave now." The tea arts master nodded to Fu Huai'an and Tang Jing before leaving the room. Fu Huai'an drank the tea and put the cup down, familiarly lighting a cigarette before casually placing it on the table. He then picked up the teapot, his cigarette in hand, to refill his cup. "You're not playing anymore." Tang Jing watched Lu Jinan sit down and smiled. "As soon as old Fu comes, you stop playing. Without you, I can't even win these few rounds, it doesn't make sense." Lu Jinan tapped the ashtray with his cigarette before taking Fu Huai'an's teapot to fill his own cup. "If I keep playing, I'll probably lose my pants because of you guys." Tang Jing smiled. Lu Jinan took the cup to take a sip, his eyebrows furrowed. He said, "You called a tea arts master to drink cuting." "I told the tea arts master that I wanted to drink iron guanine tea, but this mistress ignored me as soon as she arrived and only asked old Fu what he wanted. Old Fu said cuting randomly, so all I can do is drink cuting and suffer." Tang Jing shrugged his shoulders with a helpless expression on his face. Lu Jinan looked at Fu Huai'an, whose gaze remained calm, and jokingly said, "What? You came from Lin Nuan's house. And you're still so angry. Was she a hypocrite and didn't let you touch her?" Segment 1048. From what Jinan said, this woman seems to be hard to fit in. Tang Jing asked conclusively, "Old Fu. About that lady that Jinan mentioned, are you just playing around or is your heart involved?" White smoke rose from between Fu Huai'an's long fingers. In between puffs of smoke, he opened his mouth and said with an indifferent face, "We receive our marriage certificate tomorrow." Fu Huai'an's voice was not loud, it was almost completely drowned out by the sound of the high-tech mahjong table rearranging the tiles, but Lu Jinan and Tang Jing, who were sitting next to him, could hear him clearly. Lu Jinan stopped in shock and Tang Jing had a look of surprise on his face. Finally, the ashes of the cigarette at the corner of Lu Jinan's lips fell on the back of his hand and burned him. Lu Jinan then hurriedly shook his hand and asked, "Old Fu, are you really going to marry Lin Nuan?" Fu Huai'an patted the ashes of his cigarette and looked up, his dark eyes looking at Lu Jinan as he said in a neutral tone, "Do I look like I'm playing?" Once Tang Jing heard these words, he hurriedly smiled and said, "That's good. Tomorrow, after you get your certificate, take our sister-in-law along so that we can meet. Ours can get together to celebrate and sister-in-law can get to know us. I will bring a girl with me." Lu Jinan. "Bring a female partner too. Otherwise, there will be only a table of men. The sister-in-law will probably feel uncomfortable." At the mahjong table, Fu Huai'an's friends started talking when they heard this, "Of course. Since you are getting married, this woman is our official sister-in-law, we must meet her."
Chapter 30. I heard it was a beauty. Why are you making such a fuss about your stepchild?
I don't remember her name, all I know is that she is the radio host in Ocean City. Her name is Lin Nuan, she is the radio host from 6 to 8 every night. Her voice is so beautiful. I heard she's a beauty. Tang Jing pushed Lu Jinan under the table and said, "Did you hear what I said?" Lu Jinan put out his cigarette and replied, "I'm not deaf. I just think Chu Sun is a better match for Fu Bro than Lin Nuan." Someone at the mahjong table heard Chu Sun's name and asked with a smile, whether or not Fu Brook settles down with Lin Nuan. Why are you making such a big deal about it, Lu Jinan? He's had a crush on Fu since he was a kid, apparently. Tang Zheng stated jokingly. He picked up his phone and cigarette pack and said to Fu Huai'an, I'll call my girlfriend and ask her to free up some time to see you tomorrow. The next morning, Bai Xiaoyan walked out of Lin Nuan's room and groped her way to the kitchen to get a bottle of water from the refrigerator. She took a sip and saw Tuan Tuan and Lin Nuan sleeping in the living room. Bai Xiaoyan was taken by surprise. Lin Nuan was sitting on the carpet, her arms supporting her head. She was holding Tuan Tuan's small hand and leaning on the sofa, sound asleep. The morning light shone through the parted curtains. The golden rays of the sun carved the silhouettes of Lin Nuan and Tuan Tuan. It looked like they were bathed in gold. Bai Xiaoyan leaned on the dining table, holding the bottle in one hand. Bai Xiaoyan already knew Tuan Tuan's identity. But Lin Nuan wasn't staying with Fu Huai'an because she really liked him. So she didn't need to make so much effort to bond with her future son-in-law. The rays of light moved quietly on Lin Nuan's clear and flawless cheeks and eyelashes. She slowly opened her eyes. Did you sleep here all night? Bai Xiaoyan's voice boomed across the room. Lin Nuan's eyes squinted to block out the sunlight. She followed the source of the voice, but all she could see was a green shadow. It wasn't until Bai Xiaoyan stepped right in front of her that she realized who it was. She could finally see her pretty face clearly. Tuan Tuan was still holding Lin Nuan's hand, having no intention of waking up. Lin Nuan removed the sheets that Tuan Tuan had thrown away last night and covered him. She cautiously withdrew her hand and tucked her little elbows inside. Tuan Tuan was not used to feeling nothing in his palms. He rolled over, smacked his lips and then went back to sleep. Bai Xiaoyan passed the milk to Lin Nuan. She noticed the traces of the hoodie on Lin Nuan's right cheek when she leaned on it last night. She asked with a hint of anger in her voice as she looked at Tuan Tuan, "What are you doing here?" "What time is it?" asked Lin Nuan. Lin Nuan's neck and shoulders were sore from sleeping in this position all night. She stretched her muscles and rubbed her neck. 6:30. Bai Xiaoyan sat down next to Tuan Tuan's feet and pulled her legs up. She looked at Lin Nuan, still sitting on the floor. "You didn't take care of that kid all night, did you?" "No, his father sent him here last night." "He really thinks of you as his mother," Bai Xiaoyan said with a smile. "Turn down the volume, don't wake him up," Lin Nuan said, lowering his voice. It was only 7 o'clock. The child could sleep for another hour. Last night, Tuan Tuan had grabbed her hand before she could dry her hair. After a whole night, she found herself with a suffocating headache.